Okay, so hello, my name is Raul Sanchez, and today I'm going to be going over my week 7 assignment on computational thinking. Um, my slogan is computational thinking in every classroom for all teachers and all students by myself, Raul Sanchez, and this is for EDU 353. So, computational thinking and essential in teacher prep programs. So, computational thinking is an essential tool for both teachers to know and be able to show students how to apply it themselves clear. So both teachers need to know this skill as well as the know how to teach it to their students. Teachers with computational thinking skills can make clear and direct lesson plans, allows to manage class more effectively, and really get it to the root of classroom problems as well. So all three of those things are great tools that come with computational thinking. So the lesson plans, classroom management, and if there's a situation, being able to address them as well. Computational thinking is also an essential tool that teachers need to incorporate into their teaching, as it allows them to teach through a pedagogical approach of computational thinking integration, which can be applied in many different subjects such as math, literacy, science, and social studies. So I kind of talk about this later in the presentation as well, but there's a lot more opportunity to be able to um, really use this in many different settings, many different subjects, and explain those subjects better. Yeah. So now we have computational thinking and theories and frameworks. So there's three main theories that we've discussed and applied to this. The first is Wing's framework. It's more of a science-based approach, and it has the essential components that we look at when we are talking about computational thinking most of the time. These are decomposition, pattern recognition, abstraction, algorithmic thinking. Um, this approach focuses a lot on problem solving mindset and the ability to apply it to real world problems. So, Janet Wing really focuses on, hey, if you really get this system down, you're able to use this in many different settings. Moving forward is Brennan and Resnick's framework. This one focuses more on that educational side of computational thinking and how it can be applied in the classroom through technology. So these were the people who invented Scratch and Scratch Junior, which is a super popular gamified tool. Then there's ISTE, which combines both frameworks, but focuses more on what teachers need to know to apply to be able to apply it in the classroom. So I think all of these are necessary in this situation. I think it's very important for everyone to start off with the Wings framework. It gives us the layout and the basics that we're going to use in every computational model thinking. As teachers, it's really important to have that technology integration as well, especially in this setting where it's an online setting. Um, and then I feel like the ISTE combines the best aspects of both as well. So yeah. So now we have the teacher profile. So this is for a low elementary school grade levels. She's a new teacher, or he. They do not feel like having technology in the classroom. They feel like technology can lower the connection between students and teachers, and students have enough tech exposure at home, especially being that this is an online class. They don't really love all of that stuff. And they're very against AI and digital instruction. They prefer hands-on learning and physical materials. They want to learn how to integrate computational thinking without necessarily having to have it be fully technology based, and they are now open to the idea of some technology integration. Ways to experience, explore, and teach in computational thinking. So we chose one of each. Computational thinking activities done as a teacher, as we did in class. So this is really important because um, as a teacher, you need to know what your students are going through. So having a gamified approach to start off with, as we did when we were learning it, is very key. Really breaking down a simple task into even more simple steps. So, for example, count how many steps it takes the worm to get to all the apples in the tree. Um, Breaking down into steps. Then reading different computational thinking approaches and theories with video examples of how each is integrated. So going back to the wings, resonix, and ISTE, those are great tools to use and get an idea and explore on your own. So the first one, the teacher is actually doing it and then exploring on your own of these different models and then how these different models can be seen in the classroom setting through videos. Videos help a lot because we're already getting the reading through looking at the different frameworks, but now by applying it through video, that's a great idea as well. Um, and then for the final, teaching it is the hands-on activity. So they want to teach students how to create that hands-on technology-based hands-on instead of technology, sorry, approach to computational thinking. And this can be done through how to plant and grow a flower activity. So Mythbuster number one. This is our Mythbuster section. So number one, computational thinking takes up a lot of time and will take away from core subject instruction. So this is definitely not true through that pedagogical integration that we've learned of computational thinking. So there is this way or the content-based. Content-based teaches it solely as its own skill, but with this other approach, with the pedagogical approach, we learn how to integrate it within other subjects' learning. So, an example that I always like to use is when you're teaching sequencing and pattern recognition and this and that. That could be really be applied for a literacy setting, a language arts setting, because you could teach younger elementary students like, hey, this is sequencing of events. It has to go in order. You have to do this, then this, and this, kind of like computational thinking. You could also go into a math lesson when we're breaking down a more complex algorithmic problem. And okay, what do we do first? First, we have to do the ones column. Okay, what do we do after that? Then the tens column, stuff like that. The second myth is that computational thinking is too difficult to integrate into lower elementary classrooms. So now with technology, this is definitely not the case through gamified learning and different versions of computational thinking. It doesn't have to be strictly coding based. We have Scratch Junior, we have Blockly, we have code.org. All of these are great user-friendly younger students level where even kindergartners can use them. So that's a big plus that we can bust that myth. So for the assessment snapshot, going back to that original activity of teachers putting computational thinking into a lesson through that plant activity, we could see that there is the this would be like kind of like a rubric instructions that they have to follow. So the teacher will teach a computational thinking as content through a hands-on activity that the students can actively participate in. That's goal number one. Goal number two, the teacher must include prior knowledge or anticipatory set, a guided practice section, and then the independent practice of all the students doing that activity, which is the plant and growing on their own. So for this plant growth, we want to teach the students, okay, first you get the dirt, then you put the seed in, then you water the plant. You water the plant twice a week or whatever it may be, and you have to have it exposed to sun. So that's that sequencing of the events. Bring down that big problem that we want the flower to grow, but how do we get there? And then finally, the teacher will be assessed how they were able to how they were able to simply simplify the concept of computational thinking, how they were able to engage the students, and then relating the computational thinking terms to the activity that is done at the end of the lesson through a reflection, such as the vocabulary section. So that's just some things that after at the end of the lesson, after they teach it, they could go through this like as a checklist rubric type of thing, reflection, so that they could reflect on what they've done. And then finally, these are my sources. So thank you very much for listening to my presentation.